It's Tuesday, July 8th. In the headlines, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Chair of CARACOM leads discussions on new U.S. tariff policy. Regionally, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi gives historic address in Trinidad and Tobago's parliament. And in sports, Karen Rosenbaugh is the new president of Netball Jamaica. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The CARACOM Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on External Trade Negotiations are discussing the growing concerns over the United States' America First trade policy, which includes a proposed 10% baseline tariff on imports from the Caribbean Community, CARACOM. A high-level meeting chaired by Prime Minister and newly appointed CARACOM Chair, Dr. Andrew Holness, was held at the Jewel Grand Resort in Rose Hall, St. James on Monday. The regional leaders are working to formulate a unified regional response ahead of the expiration of a 90-day moratorium on the proposed tariff, set to end on July 9. Prime Minister Holness described the situation as a, quote, critical juncture, end quote, in CARACOM's economic relationship with its largest trading partner, and stressed the importance of regional solidarity in responding to the policy shift. He notes that outgoing CARACOM Chair, Prime Minister of Barbados Mia Mottley, had previously written to the U.S. administration requesting a reconsideration of the tariff measure. In response, the Office of the United States Trade Representative expressed a willingness to engage in dialogue, but indicated that it is currently focused on negotiations with other key trading partners during the 90-day window. A political clash is brewing over the government's rural school bus program. Information Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon is pushing back against strong criticism from the opposition, defending the initiative and urging the public to focus on the bigger picture, supporting students and their access to education. Danita Rodney has the details.
Education and Information Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon is hitting back at the opposition, condemning what she calls a vulgar attack on the government's rural school bus program. The PMP has criticized the initiative, raising concerns about the use of old buses. But according to Minister Morris-Dixon, the PNP's line of attack is shameful.
I am extremely disappointed to hear the baseless attacks on the rural school bus system. These buses are used in the United States and Canada. They are manufactured in accordance with the safety specifications of the U.S. Department of Transportation, and they undergo a rigorous maintenance and inspection regime before and after arriving in Jamaica.
Continuing, Minister Morris-Dixon says parents can rest assured that the buses will meet the requisite safety standards.
Upon arrival, each bus undergoes a comprehensive inspection and fitness testing consistent with international best practices, and they will be serviced regularly to ensure continued reliability. These buses will be equipped with GPS tracking that allows parents to monitor their child's journey in real time, with onboard cameras, speed limiters, geofencing, and a fully cashless payment system. We're delivering a safe, secure, and convenient transportation experience that brings peace of mind to families and supports consistent school attendance in a cost-effective way.
School principals are throwing their support behind the government's rural school bus program. George Henry, principal of Alphonsus Davis High, says the initiative will make a big difference in getting more students to school on time.
I am anticipating anything that can help to get students across the parishes to reach school on time. If you ask me, we have far too many students who are coming from places like Trelawney and St. Anne, and they are reaching school extremely late. And therefore, anything that the government can do to assist us in getting students to school safely and on time, and from school to where they live, I welcome it wholeheartedly.
When it comes to safety concerns, the Clarendon-based principal is dismissing them as unfounded and exaggerated.
I don't think persons could be so stupid to allow our students to be at risk. I don't think whoever will be operating those buses will be so unkind to allow students to get off in the middle of the road. Somebody must be there to monitor what is happening. And so I am not too worried about that. I welcome this move wholeheartedly. I have no objection whatsoever because I know what our students have been going through. I know what parents have been going through, because when a child is sent to school and you are worried that the child is going to reach home or not, then there must be cause for concern. And so the parents will welcome it wholeheartedly as well.
Over 100 vehicles are being secured to support student transportation in rural Jamaica, with some of the buses already on the island. Implementation for the rural school bus program is set for September 2025. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Denida Rodney.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has underscored his administration's commitment to responsible governance, noting that all ongoing development projects, including those focused on infrastructure and water supply, are fully funded, strategically planned, and monitored under stringent oversight protocols. Speaking at the launch and groundbreaking ceremony for the $425 million Western Resilience Water Project in Trelawney, Prime Minister Holness stressed that no project is being undertaken without proper documentation, financial backing, and adherence to international best practices.
The time for planning sometimes is longer than the time for actual construction. Because you, the electorate, the citizens, the residents, also want probity, accountability, transparency, reporting in the process of making these massive allocations. You want to be assured that every dollar of that 67.5 billion Jamaican dollars ends up in the project and not in someone's pocket.
As the country heads into an election period, the Prime Minister cautioned against the political tendency to make unrealistic promises.
I can't come and lie to you and tell you that, you're going to get the election, the water 10 days after the election. Or we're going to come and build 50,000 houses. I can't come and tell you falsehoods. There are processes in place. But what you should take hope in is that the processes are funded, you see evidence of it working, and we continue to manage the engine of the economy that will deliver these projects.
Dr. Holness acknowledged persistent challenges, but reaffirmed the government's commitment to addressing these concerns through targeted investment and long-term planning. Dr. Holness reiterated that sound, transparent leadership remains central to Jamaica's development goals. A key component of the administration's infrastructure agenda is the Western Resilience Water Project, which will serve a vital corridor.
So for all the people who are concerned, have faith. The water is coming in a resilient way, meaning that if you have drought, you will still have water. If one main break, we'll be able to divert water to somewhere else. If one pump goes down, you will continue to have water because the system is resilient. That's the idea of what we are doing.
A key component of the administration's infrastructure agenda is the Western Resilience Water Project, which will serve as a vital corridor in Jamaica's northwestern region. The initiative is set to benefit major urban centers such as Savannah Lamar, Negril, Montego Bay, Falmouth, Runaway Bay, St. Anne's Bay, and Ocho Rios, as well as several smaller townships. It's summer, and a lot of people are spending time at the beach or other bodies of water, but one must remain vigilant. Drowning is one of the top causes of death, but the level of prevention is still too low in most countries. On December 13, 2024, the first Global Status Report on Drowning Prevention 2024 was launched. The report highlights that at least 3 million people have lost their lives to drowning over the past decade. An estimated 300,000 of those drowning deaths occurred in 2021 alone, 43% of which were among children aged 14 years or younger.
Every hour, more than 30 people lose their lives to a silent threat. You might think I'm talking about a disease, but I'm talking about drowning. Drowning affects people everywhere, but it's often not spoken about. It can happen to anyone, but it hurts kids and young people the most. For children like me, drowning is one of the top causes of death. In fact, drowning is the 5th leading cause of death for children aged 1 to 4 and the 4th for those aged 5 to 14. Imagine this. Every 7 minutes, somewhere in the world, a child younger than 5 loses their life to drowning. In 2021 alone, around 300,000 people drowned. Some parts of the world are more affected than others. In low and middle income countries, the drowning rate is more than 3 times higher than in high income countries. Drowning can be prevented through several actions recommended by WHO. These actions are being used at various levels across countries. A concern is that only 22% of countries include swimming and water safety skills in their school curricula, leaving many young people unprepared to safely interact with water. And only 16% of countries have laws requiring fencing around swimming pools, a simple measure proven to reduce child drownings. Only 2/3 of countries report national laws for the use of life jackets while boating. Life jackets can buy vital time in an emergency and save lives. But there is hope. Since 2000, the global drowning rate has gone down by 38%. That's amazing progress. Governments and communities are working hard to protect people. Today, 73% of countries report having national search and rescue services to respond to emergencies quickly, and an impressive 81% of countries provide free national weather alert services, which give safety information at times of extreme weather events. We've made a difference, but there's still a lot more to do. Drowning is something we can prevent if we all work together. Governments, organizations, families, and even young people like me. Every life lost is one too many. Anyone can drown. No one should.
Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. Andrea Coy, CEO of Grace Kennedy Foods, announced GK's new combined office and warehouse space in Atlanta that includes both temperature-controlled and ambient storage, allowing for seamless integration of frozen and chilled products with its traditional dry goods. Strategically located near the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, the facility serves as a critical hub for distributing Grace and LaFay branded products, as well as some third-party brands across Georgia and the Carolinas. It also supports shipments to Louisiana and Tennessee, enabling broader and more efficient reach across the U.S. Image Plus Consultants, which trades as Apex Radiology, says it is likely to acquire two companies on which it did due diligence last year. CEO Keisha Anderson tells R Today that if they materialize, these two acquisitions could lead to significant increase in its inorganic revenues and profits. She stressed that these acquisitions, in conjunction with the restarting of its Ligonier operations, will support greater revenues and earnings in the future. For the trading period ending July 7, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Alternative energy provider Wigton Energy Limited with 25,565,339 units traded, representing 64.48% of market sales volume. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 2,694,309 units traded, representing 43.35% of market sales volume. Medical supplies distributor R.A. Williams Distributors Limited with 2,062,522 units traded, representing 5.20% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On July 7, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US 56.01 million purchased and US 51.70 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.68 per dollar, selling the US at $160.64 and buying the US at $158.96. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $7.95 per transaction, with selling at $119.90 and buying at $111.95. The British pound yielded Forex traders $1.01 in profits, with selling at $217.35 and buying at $216.34. For our credit report tip of the day, ready to buy real estate? Then it's time to move beyond dreaming and start funding the foundation work. Before any mortgage approval, there are critical upfront costs: land surveys, architect plans, government permits, and even soil tests. These early steps require cash or credit, and your credit score can be the key that opens the door to getting it all done without draining your savings or stalling your timeline. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, in a powerful show of diplomacy and shared history, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi made history in Trinidad and Tobago, becoming the first Indian leader to address a joint sitting of Parliament. His speech struck a balance between solemn reflection and light-hearted connection as he denounced terrorism, celebrated democracy, and even found common ground in cricket.
In a landmark moment in Trinidad and Tobago's diplomatic history, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a joint session of Parliament on Friday, delivering a powerful message denouncing terrorism and celebrating the enduring bonds between the two nations. The ceremonial proceedings began with a formal guard of honor outside the Red House. A red carpet welcome awaited the visiting dignitary. Inside the chamber, members of Parliament, senators, government officials and invited dignitaries gathered in anticipation of what was hailed as an historic event. The Indian leader lauding the building as a witness to the nation's journey through struggles and sacrifices for freedom.
Over the past 6 decades, it has stood strong as you built a just, inclusive, and prosperous democracy.
And drawing parallels between the histories of both territories.
Both our nations rose from the shadows of colonial rule to write our own stories with courage as our ink and democracy as our pen.
He would also condemn global terrorism, recalling the tragic history of violence within the walls of the Red House.
This very Red House has itself witnessed the wounds of terror and the loss of innocent blood. We must stand united to deny terrorism any shelter or space.
His address was also marked by moments that lightened the tone of the session.
Indians are among the most passionate fans of the West Indies cricket team. We cheer for them with all our heart, except when they are playing against India.
Following his address, Modi was presented with a commemorative gift symbolizing the friendship between the two countries. After the exchange of MOU, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bisesa and Prime Minister Modi planted trees outside the parliament. Its aim to enhance sustainable growth and outline the significance of the trees in the countries. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
Still in Trinidad and Tobago, Conserve Habitats and Protect Organisms, an organization championing youth in STEM, that's science, technology, engineering and mathematics, hosted the Sargassum Snatch Innovation Competition, where finalists were challenged to design and build simple, low-cost tools to collect sargassum. On Sunday, 3 finalists showcased their projects aimed at tackling the challenge of sargassum seaweed, overwhelming the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. Here's more from TTT News.
Conserve Habitats and Protect Organisms developed the Sargassum Snatch Innovation Competition to utilize the collected sargassum and use it sustainably and innovatively. With 15 submissions, 3 prototypes advanced to the finals. Chapel representative Sarita Mahabir explained the threat posed by sargassum.
Sargassum, when it comes to our shores, causes a lot of disturbances to our natural shoreline habitats, can disrupt turtle nesting, amongst other things. It also disrupts the ecotourism and just recreational use of our beaches. In decomposing, sargassum lets off hydrogen sulfide gas, which is very unpleasant to persons trying to use beaches recreationally.
The 3 finalists were recognized for finding approaches to the challenge. In first place was Navita Prasad, who shared on how her prototype works.
Okay, so the idea of my prototype was to use barrels, and it was given a suggestion to me, like one of the suggestions that I got, and I find the barrel was the best because it would have collected more than the other options.
In second place, Jaden Ford shared on the genesis of his idea, which was born from observing pool cleaners.
My design is essentially 2 scoops on each side of the boat, and they have a mechanism that could rotate the sargassum and anything it collects inside of a net located in the boats.
In third place, Carissa Floyd aimed to create a prototype that used less energy and resources, unlike the ones already in use that cost much to operate.
My prototype consists of 2 nets that are situated on either side of the vessel, and it's meant to collect the sargassum floating in the ocean with as minimal effort as possible. I really came up with this idea from doing my research into devices that already exist and seeing how I could create something that was not mechanized.
The event on Sunday not only featured the competition, projects that could transform sargassum from an environmental burden into an economic opportunity were also explored. Faith Cheriot, TTT News.
In sports, we open with netball. Karen Rosenbaugh, former Director of Marketing and Sponsorship for Netball Jamaica, has been officially elected as the new president of the National Netball Governing Body. Her appointment was confirmed during the association's annual general meeting held Saturday at the Summit Hotel. In a closely watched vote for the executive leadership, former national player and administrator Simone Forbes secured victory over Ken Sean Murdoch in a runoff to become first vice president. The executive team also includes second vice president Dwayne Gutzmer and treasurer Elaine Walters. The board was rounded out with the election of 6 directors: Tashiki Salmon, Derek Brown, Karen Winstonley, Carleen Waugh, Suzette Townsend, and Denise Palmer. The newly installed leadership is expected to guide the sport through its next development phase as Netball Jamaica continues to build on recent successes and prepare for upcoming international competitions. We go over to cricket. West Indies men's head coach Darren Sammy has expressed clear disappointment following his team's 133-run defeat to Australia in the second test, which handed Australia an unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match series. Here's Nasira Mohammed with more.
Head coach Darren Sammy acknowledged Australia's status as the #1 test team, but highlighted his team's struggle to handle pressure and their inability to capitalize on opportunities.
The display, we've just not shown when it is tough to find a way to absorb pressure. You look at on the other side, we've had the top order, under 100 for 4 wickets down for probably in all three or four innings we've played. But they find a way, or maybe our bowlers are not disciplined enough, but they found a way, and that's what the top teams do.
While Sammy commended the bowling unit for securing 40 wickets across 2 matches, a significant achievement against a top-tier side, he stressed that the batting remains the core issue. He highlighted the batting's repeated failures in second innings across recent matches, attributing these issues to a mix of mindset challenges and technical deficiencies inherited from domestic cricket and youth setups. Sammy expressed frustration over regional pitches.
Look at the surfaces that we play on. It's hard. So, for instance, if you look at all the averages, we barely have guys averaging 40 plus in regional cricket. So you are already behind the 8 ball. Those type of pitches, it doesn't allow you to come up technically sound because you're really unsure. There's always doubt.
Looking to the future, he hinted at potential team changes, including the position of opener Craig Brathwaite following underwhelming performances.
He hasn't looked good this season, this series. And in a team where you're searching for performances, you get very close to say, okay, do we give somebody else a chance? But we will really have a good discussion, myself, the selection group, and the captain himself, about that particular situation.
Looking forward to the historic day-night test in Jamaica, starting on July 12th, Sammy remained hopeful, expressing confidence in his team's evolving mindset and commitment to improvement despite challenging results.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.